This is London.
I'm being asked to give the first award, which is the Ring of Friendship Award, which is given to people who are outside, who are not wrestlers, who come into the business, who've helped it. Now, over the years, there have been many celebrities, politicians, royal members of the family, such as Prince Philip, Mike Tyson, and many more. And of course, when it comes to politicians, the biggest one of them all probably is the President of the United States, Donald Trump, who was involved in wrestling many years ago. But this guy is the Peterborough MP, and he contacted me last February saying, can I be involved in the show? I thought it was a joke. I contacted my friend, the Conservative judge and councillor, Chris Buckwell, confirmed it was true. He came down, he said nice things, he got beaten up by one of the wrestlers, which is often the case, but he appeared on Sky News the next week, the Daily Telegraph, things that you wouldn't expect the Sun to cover, you don't expect the Daily Telegraph. But not only did he mention himself, but he said, listen, I was doing it for British wrestling, for LDN wrestling. He was happy to put over British wrestling, and recently he's launched an all-parliamentary group where he's making wrestling safer, because a lot of promotions unfortunately aren't very safe. But it is my honour to give an award for the Ring of Friendship, the British Wrestlers 2020 award, to the Honourable MP of Peterborough, Paul Bristow.
Well, look, this is a tremendous honour to not only receive this award, but just to be here, because wrestling is something I've been passionate about for a long period of time, and to be here at a time where we're remembering those who came before us is incredibly important. I was really taken aback by what you said about your friend and those wrestlers and the 10 bell salute who are sadly no longer with us today. And so it's a huge, really is humbling to be here and talk to you about my involvement in wrestling, which is obviously very limited. I have been a wrestling fan since I was a kid. My first glimpse into wrestling, my first time I became passionate about wrestling was with my late father, God bless him, turned on ITV one either Sunday or Saturday I think it was, and I was introduced to the world of sports. Again, and from then on in, on ITV, I fell in love with all the characters of British wrestling, and I've been a fan ever since. Now, of course, watching British wrestling, that opened the door for me, but then obviously I got interested in WWE, WCW, and I've been a wrestling fan ever since. But I don't forget that first time that what involved me in wrestling was British wrestling, was world of sport, because I think that's what wrestling's all about. It's remembering the tradition, remembering those who came before us, and remembering those who set the groundwork that British wrestling can have the positive future that it has. My story with Sanjay, as he says, was wrestling came to Peterborough, and I just friendly tweeted out, you know, this might not be Hulk Hogan versus Ric Flair, but wrestling is here in Peterborough and it's something to celebrate. But before I know it, there was a wrestler criticising me on social media. I was standing up for my city. I was being very, very positive about Peterborough. But Hot Shot Joey Scott thought he could talk down my city. Well, Alan Lee Travers and myself, we showed him a thing or two. But I said to Sanjay, who had me coming out in a ring in Peterborough and talking to the people of my city. And he said, go out there and just talk about politics. And I was like, what? And he goes, you're a babyface, go out there and talk about politics. I went, Sanjay, you know, these people have come to watch a wrestling match. They don't want to hear me talking about politics. They don't want to hear an MP in front of them, and they certainly don't want a Tory there. I'm a heel. But he wouldn't have it, and there I was as a babyface. But since then, I remember getting an email from a Labour MP who said, after this, will you want to set up this all-party parliamentary group on wrestling? And we did, and we came together, the Labour MP, myself, Scottish nationalist as well, and we've come together to talk about wrestling. And I hope we're doing a good job, really, first and foremost, promoting British wrestling as a positive export for this country, something that deserves to be taken seriously, something which generates a lot of money, and something that generates a lot of events. And so hopefully we'll be able to do that and make sure that British wrestling goes from strength to strength. But without also remembering what comes before us is also important. But I just want to leave you with that. Wrestling is all about tradition. The one thing I did come from it as well is that Boris Johnson finally knows who I am, I think, as a result of this. After on Sky News, I was challenged to take on Boris for a hair versus hair match. But I don't really kind of book it, Sanjay, book it. I'm not sure I really fancy my chances. But look, this is a tremendous honour for me to be with you all here, to meet so many fine wrestlers, to meet so many people who've been involved in the tradition of British wrestling for so long is incredibly important to me. So thank you very much indeed.